Hi, friends. First of all, I wanted to say you may notice that I've upgraded my filming setup a little bit. As you can probably tell by the little rings in my eyes, I got myself a ring light. Yeah, we're going to be seeing how this works out. If there are any hiccups, please excuse me in advance while I'm getting used to it. You may also notice that my voice is not what it usually is. I am unfortunately under the weather right now. Thank goodness it is not the illness whose name we shall not mention. It's not that, it's just a cold. Um, but yeah, so if you see any stops and starts in this video, it might be because I had to stop and have a little coughing fit, a sip of tea, and then continue onwards. I did want to get on here and do my Black Friday haul video. Rapunzel, where I buy most of my things, had a really incredible Black Friday sale this year. It was 40% off, which is absolutely bananas. And before we go any further, I do just want to make it clear because I've seen some comments. I'm not officially affiliated with Rapunzel in any way. I'm not an employee. I am not one of their brand ambassadors. I have done modeling for them on a couple of occasions, but that's about it. So everything that I have in this video, I paid for with my own money. Because when you model for Rapunzel, they pay you in product. I have gone back through my old videos, and anything that I received in exchange for modeling services, I've marked with an asterisk, just to be clear. But yeah, for the most part, I am just a big fan of that company. So I actually was pretty restrained. I did not buy enough to get the special set that you got if you spent $175. Last year I did. Last year I stocked way up. But I'm finding at this point in my wrapping journey that there really aren't that many things that I need. And so I've been trying to be really mindful about what it is that I bought. So I only bought enough to get the free accessory that you get at $75. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So first and foremost, the elephant in the room, I got the Wendy Shaper. If you are on the Rapunzel community Facebook group, you will know this shaper has a cult following. People love it. And Rapunzel had a pop-up event in person in Baltimore. I live in the DC area, so close enough to go to something like that. I went up, I had the opportunity to try the Wendy in person, and I thought, yeah, that's gonna be for me. So I treated myself to a new shaper. I'm really thrilled with it. It is as amazing as everybody says. So I went ahead and I got it in white. And the reason that I did that is because, just a sec. So this is my Cloud9 shaper in the blonde, and you'll see that neither of these colors is really blonde. This is very gold colored, and then this is kind of like a flesh tone. And so I found with some of my more sheer scarves that difference is noticeable, and I don't love it. So I thought I would try the white. I would see, because it is completely white all over, if I liked that or if I thought that it was going to be too much showing through my wraps. And also just figuring that if it does show too much white through my wraps, that I can just dye it. And if I do that, I'll let you know, and I'll take you through that process with me. So I am going to have a couple of tutorials in this video. They're going to be at the end. I'll have that marked in the description box below. And if I can figure it out, I will also put chapters in. We'll see. It's a whole new world of technology at this point. So with that, I'm going to get into the rest of the things that I bought. So the second thing that I bought was a velvet headband with the Velcro in blonde. I already have one of these, and then I have a couple in black. But you know, the same way that they say that you shouldn't wear the same bra 2 days in a row because it gives the elastic a chance to kind of reset and keeps things from wearing out too quickly. I only had one of these in blonde, and so I make a real effort not to wear the same velvet headband or the same shaper 2 days in a row. So I figure get myself a second one, and then I have more that I can trade out. And now getting into the scarves. I got, this is the Sparklelicious in red. And I think the Sparklelicious are extremely underrated. I see people talk about the Shinylicious a lot, but not so much the Sparklelicious, and I don't know why that is. It's got a more subtle sheen to it. I have in like more neutral colors. I have one of these in Dusty Rose that I love that I have worn to my office job, and I've also worn that same one to a wedding. They really are so versatile, and this is just a color that I didn't have, so I decided to treat myself to that. I also, the cloudburst scarves are newly back in stock in a number of colors. This is the blue. I haven't tried them before, and so I wanted to get one to see if I like them, and I love them. They're very lightweight. I'm going to do a tutorial with this at the end of this video. But yeah, super gorgeous. And then the main event, as far as I was concerned, is that Rapunzel has brought back the sterling and golden Israeli tichels. So I had one of the old sterling Israeli tichels in a sage green, and that was one of the only ones that was still in stock. At the time that I started covering, the golden ones were nowhere to be found. And so the fact that they brought these back in so many beautiful new colors. So in the sterling, I got this one. This is the plum. And it's looking a little bit lighter in the viewfinder than it is in person, but it's a really pretty purple color. I did a tutorial with this over on my Instagram, and I'm going to be doing that same tutorial in here and talking through it a little bit more. And then in the golden, I got the rust color, which I am a sucker for anything rust, anything burnt orange. I absolutely love wearing it. I think it's very flattering with my coloring, and so anything rust, anything burnt orange, you bet I'm gonna buy it. So I did, and I am extremely thrilled with it. And then I also, this is the dark brown golden Israeli tichel, which I thought was super pretty. So that's it as far as the stuff that I actually bought. It's really not a ton. And then I did get the free accessory, which is this turban style headband that you can see with the rhinestones on it. So I don't super love this color. It's kind of like a bright peachy color that I don't wear a lot. So I might try and dye this to something that I'll use more, which I'll let you know if I do that and how it goes. And then also I got the Challah Mom accessory. So if you follow Challah Mom over on Instagram, I think she's also on TikTok. She did a little collaboration with Rapunzel, so a number of people who put a code in got a special accessory. So this is what I got. It's this really pretty headband with pearls and seed beads on it. And what I really love about this is sometimes with the embellished headbands, they have little prongs keeping the gemstones in place, and it is so easy to snag your scarves. And so this does not have that. They are all sewn on, and I love that. So that is it in terms of the haul. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get right to the tutorial. So I posted a photo from a number of photos from when I was in Ireland wearing a square scarf. I think it was the Shining Horizons Israeli tichel that I was wearing in those photos. And I think somebody commented, I couldn't find the comment when I went back to it, but I could have sworn that somebody asked me how I'd done that. And so I really like this particular wrap because as much as I adore square scarves, most of them, when we put them on, they go like straight across the way that like I have my shaper right now. And I just don't think that that is as flattering on my face shape as doing a V. So what I'm going to do is I am going to sort of fold the scarf so that it is somewhere in between being a triangle and a rectangle. So you can see that I have these 2 points hanging down. And this is something that you can play around with to figure out, you know, exactly how much you need to do. I have done this with only a volumizing scrunchie on, and it works great. I wasn't sure if it would give me enough coverage for the Wendy, but it does. So now I'm going to put it on my head, and I'm going to try and have like the long point there, use that to cover the bulk of my shaper. And I'm going to angle it, and I am going to split the scarf so that I have tails here, and tie it in a knot. And I'm going to tie it so that these short tails are going to be coming out just like that. Okay, so now I have all the rest of my scarf over here, and you can see if there's like, you know, if your shaper's gotten a little bit off center, kind of squish it back. And then here, I'm really just gonna fold this in. I wanna try and keep the bulk to a minimum. And then this is going to come up and over. And I'm gonna hold onto my shaper while I bring it up so that I really get maximum coverage. Make sure nothing is too lumpy. And then sometimes you'll find that edges start poking out. If they do, you can give it a little twist, but it seems to be cooperating with me here today. And then I am just going to bring this down in front and tie a little knot. And so you can leave that out if you want. I prefer to tuck it in. I think that it just makes for a neater looking wrap, but you can really finish that in any number of ways. I'm just going to tuck it in there, make sure that my ears are still covered the way that I want them to be. And that's it. That is how I use a square scarf to get a wrap that looks like you did it using a rectangular one. So again, just kind of look, see if there's anything that's excessively lumpy. These tichels are pretty stiff because they're like half lurex. But yeah, so that's the look from the side and the back. Other side. And the front. So as I said, I posted a video of this over on my Instagram, but I didn't do any explaining. So I hope that this makes clear exactly how I did it. So I have been wearing those wraps a lot lately. I think that they just show off these gorgeous, gorgeous sterling and golden Israeli tichels so nicely. I'm gonna pull that forward a little bit more, make sure. I do notice that this shaper, because of the weight of it, tends to migrate backwards a little bit more. And at the pop-up, I was kind of given a piece of advice from Henya, who also has modeled for Rapunzel occasionally, that like when you put it on to like smush it down a little bit so you don't end up with like the full chef beret look. Some people are into that look. I like mine to look a little bit more natural, as it were. And then I wanted to do another quick little tutorial with the cloudburst scarf. So I posted a photo of this also over on my Instagram. Somebody asked for a tutorial, and it's really just a variation on my everyday wrap. So I didn't want to make it its own video, but I will go ahead. So as I folded it to fit my head, and I've got it a little bit off center. So I want to make sure, I'm going to tie it on at an angle, that this end is long enough after I tie it to come back over my head, but not a whole lot longer than that. So there we go, nice and angled, and then just tie it in a knot. All right, and just adjust that angle a little bit more. Okay, so now this is going to come up and over, and I am going to pleat it so that I get as much of that beautiful gradient in it. You know, it's only, I feel like it's a little unfortunate because sometimes with these scarves, it's, you know, it goes very quickly from one color into the other, and I always wish that it were just a little bit more even, but you know, can't have it all. And I do love this scarf regardless. So bring it up, make sure that I am covering all the way back. nice even angle to match my other side, and tie this in a knot. And then because I have already kind of the light to dark here, I didn't want to do light to dark again, going back to the other side. So I decided to twist it and really make an effort to have that alternation between the light blue and the dark blue as I brought it across. So that's a little bit more heavy on the light blue. I'm not going to play around with it too much right now, but you absolutely can if you are doing this for yourself. And then that is going to come up and around. And then, excuse me, tie it in a knot, just like so. And then I fluffed it out. And it came out a little bit shorter this time, I think also because I'm wearing the Wendy, and in that photo, I was wearing it over a Cloud 9. So I'm actually gonna undo that if I can and do another go at it. And I think this time I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it all the way through and leave it down. But what I did do in that photo is I pulled it halfway through and then fluffed up the bow the way that I do in a lot of my tutorials. And that's the look. So here it is from the front, the side, back, and the other side. So there you have it, my Black Friday haul and a couple of tutorials thrown in for fun. If you like my content, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I put out so much. I try and do it on a weekly basis, and I've mostly been succeeding at that lately. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed it. That's a wrap for me. Thanks for watching.